Welcome to Shit Your Mama Should Have Told You and More. My name is Remel. I'm hosting tonight a story time. This one is with my beautiful young daughter, Morgan. Yay! It's the first time she's here. Morgan, welcome. How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
I just want to let you know I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. So, one of the things I want to talk about tonight is some of Morgan's experiences from her younger years and what she thought I might have been doing when she was seeing what was going on. Like, did she have any idea? I did a Revelations with Aiden. And so, one of the things I want to ask her is, what do you think? What did you think at the time when you were younger was happening?
I thought that you were a madam.
Did you really?
Yeah, I knew.
You really thought that?
I knew the whole time. I was waiting for you to say something.
You so damn nosy though.
Not nosy. I think that you thought that I wasn't like, I'll be with you and you'd be saying, "Oh, uh 5'5", blonde, long legs, this and this." I'm not dumb. Watching TV, I'm watching TV, you go to sleep. Like, I know what's happening. Change.
So wait, you was 8, 9, 10 years old, and you knew all along, and you never said anything?
Yeah, never said anything. What was I gonna say?
Well, damn. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. Because I really, honestly thought you had no clue, and we're just like something else. But I knew you were nosy. I mean, Morgan. Like, let me tell you, I say no, Morgan is nosy, but I really say that in endearment because if you want to know the details of anything that's going on, ask Morgan because she gonna get to the nitty gritty of what's happening. So I didn't think that you knew.
Yeah, I knew. I knew where it was happening. I knew anytime a phone call came in, what you were talking about. I knew. I knew. I knew. What else did I know? I'm sure I know more stuff. I guess if it comes out, you know.
Do you recall any incident that made you just go like, aha? Like, was there an aha moment for you? I remember we watched the R. Kelly
Oh
thing
yes.
together.
Oh yeah, I have aha moments. There were girls that would come to the house that oh, you were taking pictures. You were taking pictures of them.
Hmm.
Um, and even though you were an agent in Hollywood, I mean, the type of pictures that you guys were taking wasn't like something for Hollywood. In my mind, it wasn't something for Hollywood. So went along with what I
Absolutely
had
not for
already.
Hollywood.
Huh? What's that?
I said, absolutely not for Hollywood.
Oh,
Absolutely not for Hollywood.
yeah, exactly. Maybe what's yeah, maybe a sex story, but yeah. So I knew the whole time.
Wow. Okay, so I wasn't as slick as I thought I was. So all this time, to be honest, so while I was revealing things to Aiden, I really thought you had no idea.
Okay,
I thought you didn't know.
but when we spoke after you told Aiden, I wasn't acting shocked. If I didn't know, I feel like it would have been a different reaction. But I knew the whole time. I've told people like very, very, very minimal amount of people, but I've told people in my life like, oh, pretty sure my mom was a madam, um, but she doesn't know that I know type of thing.
Damn. Well, goddamn. Well, this the shock and twist that I didn't expect.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I did not expect you to say that because I thought I was coming on here to talk to you and say, what did you think was going on? Look at your brother in the background. What are you eating? Anyway, the
Yeah.
skinniest motherfucker in the world, and then he's eating everything he can. But
And I
I,
went over
I
here
really didn't
saying
know.
who was other people in our circle that worked alongside. So, I know probably even more than you've disclosed.
Well, you Wait, go on, tell me now what you know. This one, I tell you, this one right here get all the damn. You want the scoop? She got the scoop. She should be Hollywood Unlocked. Go
Anyway,
ahead, tell me what did you know.
no, okay. Yeah, this is the tea. Um, what do I know? I'm not saying names, but I just know like some people in the family that have
Don't
went.
say names because we don't unless they're deceased. If they're deceased, it's okay. But if they're
No,
alive, don't say names. Just use something that represents them because it's not fair to out somebody that hasn't yet been on the show.
no, I wouldn't ask anybody. Yeah, I just know certain family members that have, um, you know, uh, participated.
What family members you talking about? No, ain't no family members participating. What you talking about, girl?
Oh, okay.
Tell me what you talking about. Like, what you mean, like Mauricia?
No, but I would assume that. I didn't know that, but I would assume.
Yeah, Mauricia. Mauricia was the ringleader of the people who told me how to do it. She told me about all the shit. And so, I mean, I just was in business and she knew that I knew business and how to negotiate. So she was doing her thing. So she was the one who really introduced me to the whole thing. And I thank her for that. Thank you. Rest in peace. That was my home girl. Lord have mercy. But family members, I can't think of family members. I have family members that I know that were gay, but I don't think I had family members
Talking about,
that
I'm not talking about in the act of those things. I'm saying in the business part. But
oh.
yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I'm just saying. But it's interesting because I knew the entire time, and I never realized like what effect it had on me. And I think that for me, I thought it was kind of somewhat normal. Like it
Mhm.
wasn't outlandish. Like when I told these people, I felt like, oh, okay, like you know, my mom's a hustler type of thing. Like, and I think me having that mentality of like around sex work and all of those things has kind of like shaped my opinion on um, other things.
Like
And
what? Like what? What do you mean like shaped your opinion on other things? Like what?
I mean, I don't think I've really been like a prude. Um,
Okay.
I think that
No.
I didn't think that I thought that this was something that was like glamorized, but I don't think that anymore. I don't think it's glamorized anymore. You know, I think it was something that happened, something that you did, but I don't think it's like something to like brag about for me.
Right.
And, um, I think how I think about, you know, people who decide to partake in those things, like I'm not judging anybody, but I would never, I can't imagine, like doing the same thing. So I think before I was like, oh, you do it, like you got to do this and you got to do that, you got to do what you got to do. But I think my perspective has changed recently. So.
You know what? Back in the day, my whole goal when I was a madam was to produce children, not even produce children, but to make sure that my children were able to do the things that I wasn't able to do. Like go to an all girl school that was private and get picked up by the limousine. You remember being picked up by the limousine? Did you have any idea at that time when you were getting picked up by the limousine what was going on?
Probably not. I think I was 5, so I might not have known at that time. But
Mm.
I mean, thinking back, I'm like, okay, we had the mansion, we had all the cars, and my dad told no, yeah, we had all the cars, and we had
Well, your dad was making money, so
okay, yeah.
he was making good money.
But he even said he's very open to saying like that you were the person that had you were the breadwinner at that time. You were the person that was you even showed him some things like with how to not illegally, but just like you had that hustler spirit about you. You always had. He's always admired that about you. So he's made it very known that like your mom had the bag at that time.
Right.
And, thinking about all the things going to Jamaica, paying for it, everyone to go to Jamaica. Like, that's not, you can play it off and say like, oh, I'm an agent. And maybe it did come from being an agent, but I always knew that there was something else. So
Damn. I didn't even know. I honestly had no idea that you knew because you were so young, but I remember that you were very in tune and you were very smart. So, wow. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's my beautiful daughter Morgan. She knew it all already, so no problems here. I only had nothing to tell her ass. But I'm in awe because I really thought I hit it well, and I tried to definitely hide it from you. How do you feel like it impacted you in your life? Like, how do you feel like my hustle, the way I did what I did, the way I moved, how do you feel it impacted you? Did it impact you at all? Did it have an effect on you?
I think it did affect me, um, because I mean, when I went to school,
She went to an HBCU, by the way. Yay, that's my baby.
Howard,
Go ahead.
school, from the first year, I figured out I figured out a lot of things. So
Yes.
I was figuring out how to hustle on my own. I was, paying for my own things. Like, I was working, I was waitressing, I was doing bottle service. I found out how to get food stamps. Like, it wasn't
Hmm.
poor, but it was just like I found out how to get hookups. Like, I always wanted to find out
Hmm.
how to take care of myself and not, you know, not live. I mean, I guess in college, the average college lifestyle. So I was making a good amount of money when I was in college, as a waitress. I was missing out on a lot of things, but I think like keeping up that lifestyle, maybe that, I was used to when we were in Philadelphia, uh, was like very important to me. And I think that I was okay with fast money, um, just because of
No stripping though, right?
absolutely not.
I,
Yeah, I
I
never
I
went
never
that
thought that.
route. I never
Thank you, Jesus. No, make it rain on my Morgan. But go ahead anyway.
went as far as to be a bottle server, which I would never do now. Like I certain things I feel like I glamorize, but I think that in a lot of ways, I think like, okay, my parents are, known hustlers. I'm not saying illegally, but just like, people who have the hustler spirit.
Right, gotcha. I gotcha.
And I think about it all the time because it's like sometimes I feel like, damn, like I should be a lot further along because I had these people who, you go anything you say you're gonna do, you pretty much do it. You do it.
Ah.
Far as like we talk about this podcast, you said you were going to do it, you do it. You have an idea, you go after it, you back yourself, you put your money in. You have that spirit, and I think that I have thought of, I don't always have that inkling. Like that's not always like, uh, you know, I don't have that drive behind me sometimes,
But
and
you don't have to live up to everything that your parents do because it's not always in you. Sometimes we live vicariously through you and we push that on you. But, as far as the boys go, you always used to say, you treat the boys different, but we always treated you like a princess. So
no,
you have your own path to navigate, right?
yeah, no, you guys
You know that.
like a princess. But yes, I know I have my own path to navigate, and I have to remind myself, like, okay, I'm not them, and I don't even want to be you guys at this point. But before, it was just like I need more happening. Like I shouldn't be procrastinating. Like I should be
Well,
doing.
that's for sure. No procrastination.
Yeah, I think I'm very different than you guys. Um, Surprisingly,
And I love that. I
with
love that.
certain
I
things.
love that. I love the young woman you've become.
Thank you. With certain things, but I think that if I would love to adopt the hustler spirit that you have, the saying like, okay, I'm going to do this, and like I eat, sleep, and breathe like this thing because I said I'm going to do it, and I believe in it. Like you have that. So I admire that about you. So long story short, I guess that's how it impacted
Well, it's really hard to do what we do without the support of people like you and Eddie, your fiance. Yay, my daughter has gotten engaged
me. Yes.
to a wonderful guy that I approve of. Show that ring. Where's that?
More than approve of.
Yeah, look at that thing. And Eddie worked very hard to put together an engagement party for Morgan, and I was happy to be a part of it. So I'm very thrilled about that.
Yeah.
So you found somebody that I more than approve of. I love Eddie. He's actually a good guy. And I know that he loves you and will take care of you. So, and he better, because he already know what's on the other end or not.
Take care of
So
me.
And so, right before you, so I want to talk about this real quick. I always try to, like in story time, I want to tell a story, and we didn't tell a story, but I love what we were talking about. But so right before you were born, I lived in Old City, Philadelphia, and I don't even know if you ever heard this story or not. But Action News, Channel 6 in Philadelphia, came to my apartment, and I had all the hoes in the house. We were all in this big loft apartment. And your dad's very familiar with this place. It was right on, it was like the address was 2nd Street, but
On the corner?
anyway, it doesn't matter. No, it wasn't on the corner, not that one on the corner where you were. This one was an apartment that I was renting. And so I had told the girls, like, don't answer the door for any, because we knew that there was a situation going on where they were trying to find places, like hoe houses, that they could get into. And I was like, don't open the door. And this white girl, ironically, her name was Karen. Anyway, Karen decided to open the door, and she escorted these people right to the apartment door. And she came to get me. It was like, Action News is out front. And I was like, where are they? And they were inside the apartment, standing like right next to the door inside. So I go out there, like I'm literally, I think I might have been pregnant with you, or maybe not, just barely pregnant with you.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I go out and I'm like, what can we do for you? And they're like, we want to interview you about, you know, massage parlors and madams and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, I don't really want to talk to you. But they had already started filming. Well, that night, I saw my motherfucking ass because I was slim and trim, so I would pose for the pictures, right? And
I know that
so
too.
that night, and I would what?
Hmm.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know that too.
Oh, I thought you said you do that too. I was like, wait, what? I like, wait, what?
No. Hmm.
You knew that I would pose for pictures?
Yeah, I found a picture in your car.
What picture? Oh, oh shit!
I was going through, it's crazy the things that you remember. I was going through, okay, wait, you want to talk about this? Okay, so I was going through something in the trunk. I forget why, but
You used to, cause you nosy.
trunk used to go through your trunk. They asked me to get something, or maybe I was getting ghosted or something. But there was a picture in there, so
Just a random picture?
I don't remember, but I know that it was you.
Okay. Wow. So I had posed for this picture, and basically I was in a windowsill, and it was blind. I set the picture up. I was in a windowsill, and there were blinds in front of me, and the my place at that time was called Incognito, and I had one dumb white girl who was fucking just answered the door for whoever. And when you see the fucking cameras, you gonna open the door? And that didn't make sense. And then I had another black girl. Her name was Unique. She was fucking ghetto. She was ready to beat that white girl down. And then there was another girl that was there, and I can't remember. She was very random. But anyway, so I had this picture, and then that night on Channel 6 at 11 o'clock news, I appeared on the news. And Grandmom's friend that she worked with, do you remember this story? Grandmom's friend Carrie was like, Remel was on news. And I was like, oh shit. Yeah. You
For
see your face.
having a massage parlor, right?
Say that again.
For having a massage parlor.
Right. And so what ended up happening was I thought I was exposed. Nobody ever spoke of it. Like Carrie never said anything, grandma never said anything, nobody ever said anything. Everybody took the money. When I took people on vacations, they all enjoyed it. Nobody said a thing. But they
Yeah.
had to know something. Nobody has said anything to me. To this day, 30 years late, 25 years later, no one has said anything.
How do you know that Carrie knew?
Well, I know that Carrie knew because she was the one who told grandma. And grandma called me and was like, Carrie called me and said you was on the news and blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
And I was just like, oh, and I mean, I told her what I did. I didn't tell her about what I owned. I told the part about, I took the picture,
Uh-huh.
for them, for this company. And I didn't tell her that I owned the company. But I don't even know that she cared. I don't know that anybody cared about what was going on.
That make you feel that you were doing these things and people that you cared of found out and they didn't press you about it. They didn't hold you responsible for it because from what you're saying, they were kind of taking advantage of, the fruits of your labor. How does that make you feel?
Like today, it really doesn't. You know what? It doesn't make me feel any kind of way except for when I think about shit like when I think about something specific. But regularly, I don't care because I did it not just for me. Because as you recall, everybody would go on vacation. It would be me, you, Rasan, and I mean if it was just vacation, it'd be me, you, Rasan, and Dad. That was it. But if it was the way I did it, it was everybody went on vacation. We'd have a busload of people there with us on vacation because I really wanted other people to benefit. And so
Mhm.
sometimes when I share something on Facebook or when I share something on Instagram, and those people who I help support and continue to help support don't support, I feel kind of a way.
Okay.
But but other than that, I really don't give a fuck because I know how people are, and I accepted a long time ago that people are just jerks. They'd be like, "Why you ain't famous? You ain't share my shit."
Mm.
You ever heard that? You heard that one on Instagram?
Why you ain't famous? You ain't share my shit?
And they say, "Why you ain't famous?" And then the guy responds, "Cause you didn't share my
That's
shit."
funny.
You know what I mean? So I really didn't. I really don't necessarily care about how other people make me look, only because I did it for the right reasons.
Would you
And
have been embarrassed if everyone found out what you were doing? Or everyone that didn't know?
no, I don't think I would have been embarrassed. I think for me, I think it wasn't the right time. You were too young. Like I wouldn't want to be up there going, "Hey daughter, you can't do this and do that and do this," while I'm running around here with other girls that are 21 years old, and then we all doing this, because then that would have been very challenging. So I don't think it would have been embarrassment. I think it just made my life's work harder.
Mhm. I think that's a good point of saying like, because you had a daughter. I remember you telling me stuff like, don't give people sex or whatever. You would say
Hmm.
it in whatever your terms are, but don't just be like loose out here. But on the other hand, it was like you were living a double life.
I was absolutely living a double life. Let me tell you something. There were many times when we were in California, and remember when you were like 9 and you shaved that eyebrow off, and I went fucking ballistic. Remember that? Okay, my baby went out there. We was in California, and she went over. She found a friend, and I don't know why this boy's mother let her shave her eyebrow off. It looked ridiculous. Remember that, Morgan?
Hmm.
Okay, so around that time, I was so angry with her because she was just taking possession of her body. She was just at that point where she was just like, nobody can tell me what to do. And she was doing whatever she wanted to do. But I was also at the same time working in the entertainment industry and also running a whole house, running from the FBI. That's why we were living in California. And so I found it sort of a oxymoron, or it was difficult. So you'll find me stepping on you saying don't do this and don't do that, but yet I wasn't like being the hard and fast parent that I normally would have been, because I understood where you were coming from, learning how to be more about you. If somebody had found out at that time, I think I would have been challenged, because I had this young daughter and I was trying to raise her to be better than me. I think that's what I was doing. I was trying to raise you to be way better than me.
Mhm.
I could never express that, but I always wanted you to be more than I could ever be. And I never wanted you to have to deal with any of the stuff I had to deal with. I mean, I was 7 years old watching pimps and hoes walk the street, and I was like, I want to be a pimp or a lawyer. And that was my goals. That was my aspirations. I never wanted that for you. I always wanted you to be better. So would I have been embarrassed? I don't know that I would have been embarrassed, but I would have felt a way. I would have felt some kind of way, because I never wanted you to think that that was okay. And learning now that you knew what was going on and you never brought it up, it's actually kind of sweet, because I'm thank God you didn't bring it up, because I wouldn't. Because I remember that time. I tell everybody about this story about when we was coming back from Florida, and you were like, "Where do babies come from?" And you were like 3 or 4, and I was like, "What the fuck?" So I never could answer your questions
Okay.
because you were so direct. So I can only imagine if you had known at that time, or you had said something to me at that time, what would I have responded with? I don't know. I don't know what I would have responded with.
Yeah. I don't know what you would have said either, because, and then I was a person that would, yeah, if it came out, that would have been good. That
Yeah,
would
and
have
you got to probe. You got to probe. Morgan got to probe and dig. And listen, I'm telling y'all, if you need to know the details, this one gonna find out right here. So I don't know. I
been,
don't know.
um, because you were making so much money. So why do you think that you stayed in it for so long? You have the hustler mentality. You were an entrepreneur. You're a successful entrepreneur. Do you think any part of you was attracted to the lifestyle, or attracted to the hot, like, chaoticness of it, and that whole thing? Or because you could have took that bucket load of money and did many other things. So why do you think, my question is, why do you think you stayed in it? So,
So when I was in the entertainment industry and I was truly living a double life, I was definitely living a double life. Um, I think I wanted to get out of the entertainment industry because it was too much work, way too much work.
mhm,
Um, I remember getting those phone calls for call times in the middle of the night, and they changed shit, and niggas. Oh, it was annoying, but I
mhm,
liked it. But I think I was addicted to the chaoticness,
mhm,
because my whole life, my madam life, died down at about 10 o'clock at night, and then my entertainment life picked up again, and I loved being able to be fluid. And I felt the need at that time. I felt, it's like a man that's taking steroids. You feel invincible. You feel like, oh, I can do it all. And I think I felt like I could do it all. And it was my transition, but I never really I didn't like doing the entertainment thing because it felt like an overpaid babysitting job. But I didn't like doing the whole thing because it was an overpaid babysitting job. So it was like two babysitting jobs. So I was making a lot of money. And I was taking care of my family, and everybody was doing everything they wanted, and getting like nobody was lacking for anything if you think about it. and I was providing jobs for other people. Like I got one girl, she was an executive assistant, and when she finally relocated to Boston, she got landed a executive assistant job at an IT startup company. Well, she was helping running a whole
But you could
house
have
for
started any
5 years.
job. You could have started an IT firm and
I could
hired.
have.
So I want, yeah, but you said it's the chaos of it,
I
and just
liked
that.
it was organized chaos. I liked the organized chaos, and and sometimes you know the hustler mentality keeps you being a hustler. Um, it's harder to do a legitimate business when you're a hustler,
Mm,
because that was my theory. Like, I was a hustler. I was like, oh, well, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And a lot of businesses are based on the hustler mentality, but you've got to get the
yeah.
CEO to cross over. And I was crossing over, but I was crossing over in the wrong business, and I didn't have patience. And I never had patience. I don't have no patience.
Mhm.
And so, therefore, that was a challenge for me. And so, I think I stayed in it for so long. I mean, I stayed in it for years, um, only because that was that was what I knew. It was easy money. It was the easy way to make money. And then even after the whole like New Orleans Madam thing and everybody was getting arrested, I still stayed in it. I was still grinding.
Mhm.
Like, I was the only place that remained open.
I have a question.
But I felt a certain kind of way after. I was like, I'm black and nobody touched me. Oh my God. I felt away. And so it was weird.
How do you think that? I have a question because I mean I don't want to make this all about the madam thing, but um,
No,
growing
it's
up,
okay. Whatever.
I didn't see you with um a a ton of like long term relationships or like a lot of men or whatever. And when I did see you with men, the dynamic was different. And so, how do you
I
think
was
that,
bossy.
yeah, how do you think that, uh, how did that affect the people that you were with? Because, or do you think that that hindered your relationships because of how you,
Absolutely. I think for me, um, being a madam, I got into it for control and power.
I was
Take back my
there?
power.
Yeah.
I got into it because I was molested as a young child, and I got into it to take back power and be like, you know what? This is what we do. Why does Aiden look frozen in the back? Is Aiden frozen? Aiden, are you frozen?
No, he's not frozen.
Oh, okay.
I get that, and go ahead. I was thinking that exact.
um,
Hmm. Makes sense.
yeah, I feel like pussy's power and women control the world, and we don't know it. And we didn't know it. Back then, we did not know. We were like, there was a time where we were fighting for power so hard in the streets and women, this and that. But we didn't realize how much control we had. And so it was a way for me to demonstrate, look how much power we got. This motherfucker right here is on his knees. He's paying you and doing what you want him to do. And at the end of the day, he's getting satisfaction, but also you've controlled him. And so that was a part of it for me. It was control. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, and in my relationships, I've been more dominant. I've always been a very dominant personality. Even when I was young, I was
Hmm.
like 6 and 7 years old. I used to, with my younger brother, who's 13 months old, younger than me, I was very dominant.
Hmm.
Um, I had to be. Uh, and that was the only way to take back my power. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, it's been a challenge. I've been doing that all my life. My relationships have been me telling people what I will and will not contend with. I have not been very submissive. It is very hard for me to be submissive. Yes, I can do it, but you ain't about to lead me and you don't even know where the fuck you going. Come
Hmm.
on.
And so,
Like a man like I mean, you're you lucked up. You get a man where you
mhm,
can He's, like Eddie who knows where he's going
Right.
and is willing to lead the family in the righteous way. That's different. But I had motherfuckers that I picked that just was like,
What's up with your picker? Are you picking people that you can control because that's where you're most comfortable?
probably,
I think so.
probably,
Because they're
and
not the
probably
guys.
because
Mhm.
and probably because I was doing what I was doing. So I needed motherfuckers that wasn't going to demand and
Fall
ask
through you.
questions like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?" Like I didn't. I need because you ain't about to stomp on my shit now because I'm doing this.
So you
And
needed
so
more people to
yes, I,
control.
I didn't need more people to control. I just need the people in my life to be controlled. I didn't need more people to control because I had enough people to control because the hoes was plenty. Okay, because they had to be controlled.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is, I didn't need a man that was going to come into my life and just ask a lot of questions and make a lot of demands. Because can you imagine what a man feels like when a woman is with doing women that are selling a certain service? He's kind of like, they're not comfortable with that. And so I felt like I mean, and I probably was picking men that looked strong, but were actually weak.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get that sense. I get that. And I think that having a man asking you questions and making demands, like kind of, in my opinion, goes against nature. So I feel like with this choice of a profession, you sold yourself short because you stuck with it for so long. So you weren't able to find, I mean, you weren't able to move on from it. You weren't able to like get your, what's the next chapter? Like a companion, you know?
I think the problem started, I don't think it started there though. I don't think it started with me being a madam. I think it started when I was 5, 6 and watching my mother get her ass whooped and then being molested and then me saying, I'm never going to let a man do that to me.
Hmm.
And I remember, I remember saying to men when we'd be in a relationship, I'd be like, pull your hand out on me, you're going to draw back a motherfucking nub. Period. Because I'll kill you.
Hmm.
Because I wasn't going to go through it. So I don't think it started with being a madam. I think it started way beyond that. As a young girl, and I just knew that I wasn't going to allow certain things. So yes, you're right. I did certain things, and my picker has not been great. Kevin Samuels. I don't want to use his name right now. Um, he's a blogger and he's a Instagram influencer and he's an image consultant. And he says if you get past a certain age, you're gonna die alone. And you know what? I think I'm okay with that. I think if I die alone, but I die happy, I think I'm okay. Cause you know what? There's
Uh-huh.
no amount of dick that can make me submit to a motherfucker that don't know what he doing. Cause I've had plenty of
What they're
relationships,
doing.
plenty of,
You just
huh?
talk about the guys that don't know what they're doing, but there's men out here that know what they're doing.
I don't. Well, you know one in my age group that knows what he's doing because I
I
don't
do.
really know that many.
I don't know them, but you were never looking for them. You were looking for people to fall in line. So you
Back
didn't
in the
put your
day,
effort into it.
back in the day, I was looking for guys that were a little bit more submissive, a little bit more around the edge, around the way kind of guys. But now you look for guys that know, just you look for guys. Because
Mhm.
hell, at this point, you just looking for guys. And then you start talking to them. One motherfucker told me, okay, this is a whole nother topic. This is just a dating scene topic, but this is a whole nother topic. One motherfucker called me and said, what you doing? I said, oh, I'm not doing nothing. We had a great conversation. We had talked, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, oh, okay. So I was thinking about putting something on the grill. I was like, okay, that's good. That's so good. He's like, well, why don't you come through? Now he lives in Atlanta. I said, okay. I think he might have been 1 year older than me or around my age. Anyway, I was like, okay, that sounds good. He said, well, we could probably do some salmon. You like salmon? I was like, yeah, but I like my salmon slightly undercooked. Because
Well,
I'm
now
very
you didn't say
specific.
salmon, but okay. That's fine. That's the point.
Exactly. Not salmon. He said salmon. So he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. So that sounds good. And he was like, yeah. So, you could just stop by and get the salmon And then, I was like,
Wait.
so I literally said to him, and he knew I was from Philly. I said, so wait, you want me to bring pussy and salmon?
Oh
I'm
my.
not doing both of those things. I'm sorry. You're like, oh my God. I mean, because that's what they think.
Well, that
You go,
yeah. I mean, I think there's
you
both of those
think
out here.
you're gonna get some, and I'm bringing the food. I was like, no. And see, that's the type of shit you deal with. I just can't. I cannot.
I think there's
You know.
bozos here. I think there's like bozos out here. But I think that if you on first of all, first of all, you're not submissive. Okay. So you don't even have your
I'm not.
area secured right now. Okay. He's talking about this and that and salmon, but you don't have your area secured. But I think that there are bozos, and I know the dating scene is not easy. But if you came with your stuff together, you're gonna be able to say, okay, no, I, I'm not bringing both. Okay, next.
I did
I
say no. My stuff is together.
huh? Oh yeah, I'm not saying you went, but
My,
just like you, you're gonna be. It's like, okay, you want to talk about Kevin Samuels? What do you have to offer? So how are you going to draw these people in, the people that don't want pea and salmon, if you don't have your stuff in order? You are not submissive.
okay, listen, I'm definitely not submissive, and
Yeah,
that's okay. I think what happens is in relationships, and I think this is what we're missing with that conversation is that some women are not submissive, but we
that's
can
not natural.
submit to the right. We can submit to the right kind of man. I can't submit to a man that has absolutely no idea what the fuck he's doing.
No, you just leave them.
And it's unfortunate.
No, you just
Yeah,
leave. That's not the
but
one
I
for.
mean, there's a lot of
That's
yeah,
all.
but that was just like that was the same thing with that guy. It was like that's why you're gone. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? There's a lot of those. You get a
exactly.
lot of those, and when you're fortunate, and so
I
those
think
of
so.
us who are lucky to find somebody who can we can submit to, and we can enjoy. It's a different situation. I love the fact that you and Eddie have a great relationship, and Eddie has a dominant personality, but he's looking out for your best interest. I love that because he know I'm gonna hurt him if he don't. But I know I don't have to worry about that because Eddie is a good guy. Like you can tell. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, I'm not trying to put it out here that okay, I have this. Okay, I grew up with you, so me being with Eddie is how I have been transitioning into the person that we're speaking about right now. I had many problems with submitting. I was with people who I didn't respect, and I wasn't submissive to, and I was being controlling. Even though I am more of like, not, I'm not. I don't have a dominant personality, but I have
I was like, say you're not a dominant personality.
dominant personality, but I have my ways about me. I think
Right.
when if I had worked on those skills before I met Eddie, then I would have been like way ahead of the curve. But right now, I'm in the curve right now. I'm still like trying to learn how to bend. Like, how do I run around this way? I only know how to go straight. And if I had learned how to go around the curve before, I would have, our relationship would even be even greater. So I'm not trying to pretend that like I've been to this my whole life. So that's something that
No.
I invest in, like, and learn. And other things, not just
I, I I think Eddie is a patient man, and
yeah,
you lucked up,
yeah,
and that's the kind of situation where most women want to land, but that doesn't happen regularly. That's not normal. I
right.
mean, I'm not, and don't get it twisted. Eddie is not the norm. You know that. So
Yeah.
let's not pretend that he's the regular guy. He's the
No,
he's the unusual in a situation. And
right.
so fortunately for you, um, you guys are equally yoked and you're meshing well, and that's great. I know that if I had the leadership that I could have had as a young woman,
Hmm.
to go to college and do this and do that, I would have been a different person.
Okay.
But the person that I am is all about a young woman that was 7 years old and saw a pimp with a hoe and decided in Washington, D.C., that's what I was going to do. Was he going to do that or be a lawyer? And then, that's why I'm good at negotiations. That's
Right.
why I'm good at certain things. And I, I, I have a difficult time with men as I had. I mean, you get a mad at you were used to get mad at me because I wouldn't let you spend the night over people's houses. But
Yeah, no.
I was molested, and you didn't have that experience. So it's a different situation. And
Yeah.
so while I am I portray my strength in certain ways,
Hmm.
it's because I have to, because this is who I am. Like, nobody stuck up for me. When I told somebody what happened to me, they literally said it didn't happen. And I said, "Who
Right.
the fuck does that?"
Right.
I mean, I was grown, and I said, "This happened to me." And they said, "Oh, that didn't happen." I said, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?"
Right.
So, you know, um, I
Hmm.
guess if I were if I were young in this day and age and this kind of thing happened to me, I don't know that I would have told anybody right away, but I definitely think that I would have still felt the need to have my strength and power. That's the only way you can do it. You got to take back your power. And for years, it took me a long time to feel the possession of power.
I think
Um,
you're not healed yet, which is tough because it's like such a traumatic thing. And I'm not healed from a lot of things that have happened, but I think that you still feel like, okay, I need to, this is, it's kind of like how some people they'll become bulimic or anorexic. It's a control thing. And I think whatever your thing is, your control and having power in every single way is because you haven't healed. You haven't healed your hurt so that you can let go and actually live your life. You still are tense like this. You still walking around like this. You're not gonna
I don't think. Uh oh, you froze, or is it me?
touch me. You're not gonna ever let it go because it's tough. I'm not saying that like you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't think I'm ever gonna let it go. You say you can forgive, but you can't forget, and I don't think I'm ever gonna let it go. And I think that was one of the things that I did with raising my kids. Is just like, nope, you can't go over there. We're gonna make this house the best house that it can be, and everybody can come over here anytime they want to. You remember that was my thing. You used to always
Mhm.
ask, "Can you go spend the night at somebody's house?" And I'd be like, "Nope, they can come over here." And that was why, because I didn't trust people and I didn't trust their judgment. And I don't think I'll ever fully get over what happened to me. Nobody will. Well, how do you ever fully get over that and then just be free? Like, it's a lie. It's a lie if somebody says they're fully healed. And I will never, I won't ever just be like, I don't think I'll ever be in a situation where I'll just be like, yeah, go ahead. You can just go on over there. I won't ever be in that situation.
Yeah, I get that.
Like grandkids, kids, whatever. I won't ever be in that situation where I'll be like, where I won't second guess the motives of somebody.
I get
I
that.
won't ever be there.
I don't think that that means that you will be healed. I think even if you were healed, you still, like you said, you're not going to forget. But I think the tenseness of it and the need for power and control might ease up, and you might see a softer side of yourself if you did face those uncomfortable conversations that you need to face. You went through those. You met with, I don't know, a therapist about it and really did deep work about what
I did
happened,
that,
how to
but
get through
why
it.
do I need to face a softer side? Everybody doesn't have to be soft. Like,
You don't have
there's
to be
some
soft,
women
but
that
you have a need to control. That's not healthy. Do
I'm
you
only
think
controlling me. I can't control nobody else, but I can control me. I'm not
so?
controlling nobody. I listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you what I do. What I'm going to do is I tell you what I'm going to do and what I'm not going to do, and what you do can be different. And when it comes to my kids, and you're a child, and I have to pay the repercussions for it, that's different. But when you're an adult, that's on you. But for now, like, I'm just like, like right now, this is my peaceful space. It's all about Remel. And I don't really give a fuck what nobody else do because I'm only responsible for me at this point. And so I have a more dominant personality. And I don't think that every woman has to be soft. I think there's a man out there that knows how to deal with me, and or there's I mean, and actually I'm not even looking for a man. I know plenty of men. I'm not out there looking for men. I'm just saying that if we're talking about women having to be soft all the time, like that's ridiculous because
But
not
do you
every
think that
woman
men
is the
should be
same.
soft?
I don't necessarily think men should be soft. I think
Why
there
should
should
women
be
be hard? Why should a
I
woman
think
be hard?
I don't think a woman should be hard. I think we should be who we are. I
Hmm.
think that's the problem that we have right now. We're facing like women and men are not being who they are. Like,
Hmm.
if I imagine if I submitted to
Hmm.
a man that just didn't know what the fuck he was doing.
I
I
don't
could
do
have
that.
lost him. Well, you don't know that because you don't know because you're submitting. You thinking like his goal is to make you submit, and you're trying to be submissive because you think he knows what he's doing, but he really don't know what the fuck he doing. I could have lost my house. I could have lost everything.
That's not
Come
how.
on, man.
I don't think that's how it works. I think the process is you date,
I
you do
definitely think
some
that's how it works.
investigative work. You're getting to know each other. You're
So,
putting
are
your
you
intentions.
submitting during your dating or no?
I don't think you're submitting during your dating. I think you're not being a dominant, uh, controlling person. You're being yourself. You're being, fluid. Like, oh, let's see how this goes. I'm figuring you out. Okay, these situations are happening. I'm noting. Oh, I liked how you handled that. Oh, I didn't really like how you handled that. I don't think that works for me. And you go along, and now we make a decision. Oh, we're going to be together. I think this is going to work. Okay, I trust you. Let's go through this. Now, if you start making decisions that don't make sense, let's talk about them. If it keeps recurring, then it's like, okay, maybe we need to rethink this. But it's not like, okay, I met a man, I'm going to be submissive now. I'll do anything you say. You don't know this person. I don't think that's how the process works. So I think when you're coming and you're saying these things, you're kind of giving yourself an out because you don't have to do that. You just have to get to know somebody and just kind of see what happens. You're still peeping. Your
Yeah,
dating
yeah.
phase is to peep. Like, does this work for us both?
I've tried. I mean, I've tried that, and then I found the motherfucker didn't know what to do, so I just had to take over
Oh,
and
no,
let him
no.
go.
You got it all messed up. Because now you're like you're no, you can't role switch like that. And I maybe people
Listen,
are not
I'm a switcher.
in this millennial world, but I'm gonna put it out there. I believe in gender roles. So and as hard as it is, I think it's still hard for me to kind of like, me and Eddie will have a conversation.
I'm a
Oh,
and what
me and Eddie will have a
you
conversation,
said? Oh,
like, and it's you have to remember, okay, what my role is here. I'm not here to be dominant. Yes, I have my own point of view, I have my own opinion, and I'm going to express it. But at the same time, I'm not here to control him. I'm not a man. Like, I'm not here to yell. I'm not, and neither is he, but I'm not here to be doing this, pointing the finger. If you can't see what I'm doing. I'm not here to be getting aggressive. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not saying aggressive things. He shouldn't be saying
you
aggressive things. So,
you're lucky, Morgan, because let me tell you the difference. And I'm not making excuses, but remember, I at one point was a single woman with children, and
yeah.
so sometimes when you are in a situation, you have to make sure that they understand that I come with kids,
Hmm.
and the kids do what the fuck they want to do, and they do shit that I don't want them to do, let
Hmm.
alone shit that he ain't gonna want them to do. So you're gonna have to deal with it differently. So you're very fortunate. One of the things I am most proud of is I broke this generational curse of teenagers getting pregnant in my family. Thank you, Jesus. No kids, no kids. And so, I mean, but so that's one of the things that I've had to deal
Yeah.
with. I'm not making excuses. I'm simply saying that's the reality of it. It's different because you can say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm not going to do this. But what happens when you have this 5 year old or this 3 year old running around
Uh-huh.
punching the guy in the nuts? You know what I mean? Because I've had Aiden do that.
Oh, like so
Aiden would run
are you
around.
saying that you had to get like aggressive with him so that he wouldn't react, or what are you saying?
No, I had to. You got to set the boundaries. I had to set the boundaries.
What way?
Uh, like, these are my kids. You're not about to do X, Y, Z because sometimes men want to step in and do certain things, and you just can't allow it.
That's a tough one.
And
As a stepdad, oof, that's a tough one. Yeah, I get that.
and so that would be a reason why I would be more of an aggressor. So yes, I'm very aggressive, and I think that you know what? Hey, fuck Kevin Samuels. If I die alone, I die alone. I'll die happy. I'd rather die happy than fucking worrying about a motherfucker that's just getting on my motherfucking nerves with his balls down to his knees. I really don't care.
Find a guy with his balls down to his knees that you respect and love. That's an option.
Well, that's always an option, but hey, if it that's always an option.
Keep your
But
options open. Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
yeah, I keep my options open, but I'm still gonna be who I am. I'm not gonna change. I can't. And it's not easy for me to be a submissive person because being that submissive person is what likely caused me to be in the situation that I was in as a child being
It
molested.
wasn't.
Because
No,
I
it
should have
wasn't.
told somebody. I should have. I
No, it
should have told
wasn't.
somebody.
No, it wasn't. It was not. It had nothing to do with you. It had nothing to do with you. And that's what I'm talking about. You have not done your work. It had nothing to do with
I've
you.
done. Oh, I've done my work. I've done my work. But I just feel
Can you
like
be? Besides, and the person was submitting their power over you. There's that what you're saying, that's not true. Don't say that. That's not
right,
true.
right. Okay, so perhaps I wasn't necessarily. Uh, it wasn't my fault.
No.
But sometimes you feel like it's your fault.
Right.
Sometimes you definitely feel like it's your fault.
I
But
get
in the end, I feel like taking back my power is like, no, you're not going to do whatever you want to do. And I mean, I went through years of therapy, and
mm,
you probably don't remember that, but I went through years,
okay.
many, 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 many years of therapy.
Okay.
Um, but in the end, I'm okay with it. I just feel like at this point, I'm just not gonna let nobody just regulate over me, and you don't know what the fuck is going on. Half the time, they don't know what the fuck is going on, and some of the relationships I've been in, and they had no fucking clue what the fuck was going on. And I was the dominant one in the relationship because I was the only one that knew what was going on. And maybe I'm a bad picker. It's like a picking a booger, you
Oh,
know. You pick a bloody booger, you pick a regular booger, you don't know what the fuck. It might be a bad one, but I just didn't pick good. So, and I could live with that.
yeah. But you got some good kids.
I got great kids, great kids. I love them to death. So, is there anything else that you want to talk about that you feel that we missed? I mean, this was such a good conversation to have with you today. Like, just talking about the shit that has happened in my life, in your life, and surprise, she already knew. What do you? Is there anything you want to bring up that you feel is important to have in this conversation?
Mm, um, I don't think so. I think maybe this would be an interesting topic is how do you think you'll be as a grandmother? Judging from how you are a mother and the things that you've been through, your ideals that maybe have changed now, how do you feel like what are the changes that you will make as a grandmother?
I think I'm being a terrible grandmother right now because
What?
this is the first time in my life that I have had no responsibility since I was 16 years old. So you got to think about that. I've had all of my life, I had responsibility until the last year. and I still have some responsibility, but not really. So I think I'll be a terrible grandmother right now because I want to run around and I want to just leave and I want to pick up and I'm not doing no goddamn babysitting and I ain't keeping nobody overnight and all them date nights and all that shit. Fuck that. Y'all hire a babysitter. Had a baby, hire a babysitter. But for me, um, at some point, I think I'll be great because I always, I've always liked other kids to come around short term. I'm always the short term person, like if other kids come over and they hang out, I'm the short term person. Like they have a great time
Yeah.
swimming and doing this and doing that. But for long term, like you gotta get the fuck out of here. It's time for you to go. I'm
Mm-hmm.
done with you right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and that's just my personality. I'm just gonna be real. Like maybe one night, but if they start doing too much, you gotta come get these motherfuckers. But right now, I don't want to be nobody's grandmother, so don't even do it.
Okay. I'm gonna do it, but okay. Yeah, I'll watch my own kid. That's
Don't
fine.
do it. Don't do it right now. Don't do it right this minute. Give me a little bit of time. Well, it'll take 9 months before you can do it. Anyway, you ain't even married yet, so
Yeah,
we'll get there.
I do have a
So we'll get
question.
there.
I do have a
Uh
question.
huh.
Because I think this is so interesting. I have an idea of my mind of, what the answer might be. But I was thinking today, I was like, me and Eddie were thinking, it's like, what's your love language? I have an answer. So, but I just want to hear from
For
you.
my love language,
Yeah. What's your love language?
what options do I have?
Okay. So you have 1 second. Love languages. There's 5 of them. And you can actually rank them. Usually people put them in order.
Mm-hmm.
Um, love language lists. Okay, let's see. Because all right.
So y'all have an option on me. Y'all have an idea of what my particular love language is. Okay,
Yeah.
it's English. No, just joking.
Okay. So we have words of affirmation. We have
Say that again. You have
words
what?
words of affirmation,
Okay.
quality time, physical touch, acts of service, and receiving gifts. So let me know if you want me to repeat that. But
So it's definitely not receiving gifts. That's out. Okay. Words of affirmation. The other one was there was one. It's not.
you want me to give you examples of each? Or
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So words of affirmation, actions to take for that would be to send an unexpected note, a text or a card, and genuinely encourage. Physical
So
touch,
that's what I do, or somebody else does.
someone else does to you,
Okay. So that's a good one.
like for someone else to do to you.
Right.
And it would make you love them, I guess, or whatever you want, whatever. Physical touch. It would be a hug, kiss, hold hands, show physical affection often, make intimacy a thoughtful priority.
Well, I love doing that with my kids. Y'all know that I love that.
Yeah. Okay. Receiving gifts. No, I agree. Yeah, I think you like to touch. Sometimes.
No, I do, but you the only one to be like, "Don't touch me, get off me, get off me." Remember that?
Yeah. Receiving gifts will be giving thoughtful gifts and gestures. Small things matter in a big way. Express gratitude when receiving a gift. Quality time, create special moments together, take walks and do small things with your partner, weekend getaway. Okay, yeah. And then acts of service, do chores together or make them breakfast in bed, go out of your way to alleviate those daily workloads. So, I mean, those are like, I guess that's for partner.
So I think that small acts, I like that, and I also like
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
We guessed number one.
huh?
We guessed that was number one. We knew
I
it was number
do.
one.
I mean, y'all guess that is number one?
Mhm.
I feel like that is number one. Like that's what I like.
Yeah.
Small things, like small gestures, like
And acts of
to
service. You always want somebody to do something. But you
I
do.
always want somebody to do something.
Yeah. But I have to say, you do a lot. You set the standard with being very thoughtful and giving. You've always been that way. You've been like the person who throws the unexpected parties and pays for everything, and not just monetarily, but just like, doing things for people and having people get together. So I
You
can
gonna make
see
me
why that
cry.
would be one of your love languages. And then you like people to do things that you need to get done. And I think that if they have your back and you need to get something done and they do it, then you feel like, okay, you're showing me love.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
agree. I do agree.
Okay.
I agree. I can't say that I don't. Um, wow. Don't make me cry. Okay, I gotta go.
Oh,
Oh, this has been a wonderful conversation with my daughter, Morgan. It's been a long time coming since we started this podcast. I wanted her to be on here. So thank you for coming on today, Morgan. Um, is there anything you need to say at the end?
no. I hope you all enjoy.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Thank she will be back for sure because I got another story time I got to tell. I ain't even get to tell my damn story yet. Anyway, thank you for listening to an episode of Storytime with Remel, and my daughter joined me today. We are on Instagram, Facebook. Follow us on all social media platforms, and like, share.
Like and share. Bye.
Thank you.